Who is your all-time biggest musical influence? I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean, when I remember, how much Jimi Hendrix meant to me when I was a little kid. I don't know if anybody's ever meant more to me than that. So I'd probably pick him, even though I think I don't see my playing now as being very influenced by him. Although I suppose it is. I drew so much from him between the ages of 12 to 22 that I tried to sort of come up with a new direction for myself when I started playing guitar again when I was 28, when I rejoined the band. And so I felt like, especially because my fingers weren't very strong at that point, I felt like, okay, if I try to sound like Jimi Hendrix now, I'm just going to sound ridiculous because I had lost all the strength that you need in your fingers to sound like that. So I chose to focus on guitar players that were that had less technical ability than that and less strength in their fingers, like Matthew Ashman and Bernard Sumner and Robert Smith and The Cure and these people's guitar playing. I chose to develop a style more based out of what these people were doing, and it's been really interesting to me since then. I've developed all kinds of directions from that point, and but in a lot of ways in my head, Jimi Hendrix still seems like the sort of purest form of a human being being one with their music. And I think when I realized this when I was 12, it really hit me very strongly. Before that, I'd had a friend in school who liked Jimi Hendrix a lot, and I would argue with him saying that the Sex Pistols were much more important to musical history than Jimi Hendrix. This is when I'm in like 4th grade or something. And he would play me Jimi Hendrix at lunchtime, and I would play him the Sex Pistols and the Circle Jerks and things like this. But once I started playing guitar, I bought a Jimi Hendrix record, and I was just I just can't remember ever being so excited about music as I was at that point. This question is, do you ever watch movies, read, or just see something and get inspired to write a song based on it? I think usually, a lot of the time when I read something, it finds its way into my music. I read a book about Aleister Crowley recently, and that definitely found its way into a couple of my songs. And reading about him in the past has also affected my songs. Yeah, all that stuff in time goes back. I'm flown through a mirror and almost disappearing. That's from when Aleister Crowley would talk about looking in the mirror and sort of mentally forcing himself to disappear while he was looking in the mirror. He would actually see his physical body fade and fade and fade until it was just a faint little flickering hint of a body. So a lot of the time, something I'll read will just find its way into a line of one of my songs, or I'll just be writing a song and a certain something that I read will pop into my head, or an image that came to me from a movie or whatever will come into my head, and I'll write about it. That's the Aleister Crowley one. Seems like something that's come up from time to time. I know he's found his way into others of my songs as well. This is in response to the question: are there any painters? What painters are inspiring to you besides Marcel Duchamp, And oh God, that's a fucking question. Is there anywhere I can see more of your paintings? Most of my paintings burned during the fire at my house in 1994, I guess. And that was most of them. That was most of the good ones. There was a stack of paintings that a girl who was a friend of mine named Andrea, she took them and she was going to sell a couple to a friend of mine, and she did sell a couple, and then she never gave me back the rest. And so hopefully she still has them. I'm always thinking maybe one day I'll run into her and we'll have those, but really God knows what she did with them. Because I don't speak to her anymore. Who are some of your favorite artists besides Duchamp, Basquiat, and Da Vinci? I suppose, I like all the artists of the Surrealists and the Dadaists. Max Ernst and I like the Cubist painters a lot, like Braque and Picasso's early things, and I love Vincent van Gogh's things a lot. I love Cy Twombly, and I love Francis Picabia's stuff that he did in the 19-teens, the mechanical paintings and drawings. Those things, along with Marcel Duchamp's drawings, are probably my favorite works of art by anybody ever. And the ones definitely that I relate to the most. Also, Don Van Vliet, also known as Captain Beefheart's paintings, have always spoken to me a great deal. I love those very much.